Hello and welcome back to Exothermic Plays Games. I'm Exothermic and the date today is Saturday, March 16th, 2024. That means it's the 76th day of ranking my favorite video games through each day of the year. Coming in at number 291 is WarioWare Incorporated Mega Microgames. In WarioWare, you play a series of extremely short minigames with simple instructions. Most games are 3 to 5 seconds long, including giving you a set of instructions, often just a couple of words long. There's some kind of story here about gathering friends from around the city for some reason I don't fully understand, and to be honest, the nonsensical nature of the plot is part of the appeal to this franchise. Mega Microgames is the debut title for the franchise and it released for the Game Boy Advance. With no joystick and limited input options, the simplicity of the games lend themselves really well to the system. That being said, you can fully emulate this game on the Virtual Console from the Nintendo Switch. I think there might be some very slight input lag of a few milliseconds, which given the brief gameplay and Twitch-based controls of many of the games can be a problem, but it still works really well and is my new preferred way to play. We'll see if that changes when I get a new fancy toy later this month, incoming review likely early April. There's a few formats to how you can play the game. First, there's the story mode, which is how you first experience many games. Depending on which level you're on, there's a large amount of different games that might be thrown at you, but they're random and you don't see the whole pool all at once. Occasionally, the game will speed up as you keep beating these games, making them harder. You may need to beat 10, 15, or 20 games without losing all 4 of your lives in order to advance in the story. After you beat those, there's a boss stage with an untimed, longer minigame. Beat that, and you recruit the character. Each character to recruit has little cutscenes, then some of them are pretty funny. Once you beat a character stage, you can go back and play it again, this time for as many games as you can beat without losing your 4 lives, looping through the intervals of games and boss battles until you inevitably can't keep up and lose. The game tracks your high scores, so it's fun to try to beat them. After you beat the story for the game, there's some skyscrapers to climb. You can do a gauntlet of random games from across all characters, or a gauntlet of all of the boss minigames in order. Whichever way you do it, you can choose between easy mode and challenge mode. With challenge mode, you only have 1 life, and unlike the regular gauntlets, you don't earn more lives back by reaching certain thresholds. The last game mode is to just be able to browse all of the games you've ever played and really practice specific games. You play one game over and over and over and over again with 4 lives, and each time you play it, the speed and difficulty increases. It can be really fun to push yourself on a singular game and see how high you can get your score. I mentioned the Switch being my current favorite way to play this game, and that's in no small part due to the ability to hold down both shoulder triggers to rewind the game. I generally avoid doing this to cheat scores by backing up when I lose, but I will do it the first time or two I run into a minigame in a long time, and I don't really remember how to do it with the sometimes too simple instructions. Also, with longer gauntlet runs, it can be a lot to maintain focus for such a long time on constantly changing tasks, and you can just die if you get distracted for even a second at the wrong time. This makes that less punishing, and I'll sometimes use that function to back it up. This first iteration of the WarioWare franchise is tons of fun, and don't think that just because I've finished making this video that I'm done playing it. Being able to jump in and out for a minute or even less at a time is keeping it in a permanent spot in the rotation for me. The only thing keeping it in the high 200s is the lack of true variety of the minigames, with only so many options on the control scheme. Join me tomorrow as I talk about the 290th game on my list, where I shoot bumblebees in space.